Yeah.
You got a bat in your face.
It
That's
looks like
all right.
I got a Mike Pence fly.
Well, that is what it is. It's a Mike Pence fly. It's all good. It looks pretty cool, actually.
Well, I'm gonna have to.
Mike Pence
Might
fly.
have to.
Don't eat it. Don't eat it this morning.
I don't know what. Maybe if I sit over here, or is it better over here?
Yeah, right there. Just slightly over.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. It's not there.
because he's Mike's. Oh,
The fly's not there.
I just switched it.
is it following my head around?
Yeah.
Is it on the side of my head?
No, it's good now. I switched it to a different
Nice.
overlay.
Yeah, it's all good. You don't
Say
have Mike
hip,
Pence's
hop.
fly on.
Hip it
you.
to the hip it heavy hip hop pop. Wait a minute. Let's see here real quick. let's just start the show if that's cool with the music and we'll get in.
All right.
How do we look? Welcome to cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Pro Joe. We are Cancel This Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. All of our original content there, of course. If you're new, it's news headlines, politics, cancel culture, education, business, society. Fridays, we get a little crazy, and it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. For our viewers, you can see our orangey set. Very fallish. Joe, nice job with the graphic and, of course, with the background. A little change of pace doesn't hurt anybody, right?
I love it, actually.
Yeah, came in. Nice job with that, Joe. By the way, Joe is an outstanding photographer as well. If anybody's looking for photography work, artsy stuff, editing, how can people contact you, Joe?
Just photobyjoepro@gmail.com.
Photo by Joe Pro at gmail.com.
Love it.
Photo by Joe Pro at gmail.com. I like it. There you go. Welcome into Tuesday, October 31st. Here we go, ready to go. We're packed again today. Coming up, it's already there. Coming up in about 12 minutes or so. We're going to talk with Missouri Secretary of State, Jay Ashcroft. He is running for Missouri governor. He's going to jump in. He recently did an op-ed piece with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch regarding safety and crime in the St. Louis area. It'll be interesting to check in with him. So we'll check in with about 8:15. Coming up at 9 o'clock, we have Rachel. How do you pronounce Rachel's last name? Do you know?
Homelac.
Homelac.
Homelac. I'm pretty sure it's Homelac.
Not Home Alone, Homelac.
Homelac.
Home at Last.
Yeah,
Homelac.
Home at Last.
She's going to be talking about a she librarian in the St. Charles area. Is that correct? Which ironically involves Jay Ashcroft as well?
Yes. Isn't that funny how that all goes together?
I don't know. That's coming up at 9 o'clock. Look forward
and
to that.
A.G. Bailey. A.G. Bailey is the one.
Oh, it's A.G. Bailey, not
yes,
Ashcroft.
but Ashcroft has something to do with it. But primarily, it's Andrew Bailey.
So you got a Republican fighting a Republican over a he-she.
Correct.
And when I say he-she, I mean a cross-dresser.
That's exactly right.
So this is a man pretending to be a woman?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. In the children's section, no doubt.
Oh, of course.
Yes, in the children's section. And many people might already know who Rachel is because she has been fighting this for quite a long time. But
I knew her name. I've just never met her.
Yeah, it's really getting heated up again.
Why? I don't get it. I guess we'll try to figure
she'll tell you. I could tell you, but we'll let her. Yeah, there's a reason, and it's astounding as to why.
When it comes to Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday, you already saw it. He said no ceasefire. He's like, that would be, and it was a great comparison. He's like, that'd be 9/11 happening for Americans, and go, nah, that's all right. Thank you. And that would be the same as Pearl Harbor. Yeah, we're good. That's all right. We'll count our losses. We'll see you later. We'll be sitting ducks. Of course, that's going to pick up more bodies, decapitated women's heads being found. Sad bodies that were paraded through streets. And of course, you have more and more colleges with dumbass college kids who have been uneducated or educated in an incorrect way, promoting Hamas via Palestine. And that's what the crutch is with all of that. And then there's a lot of podcasters out there and people who have big names who are like, well, you know, if you're going to talk about Palestine, which we have on the show, which is fine, that's great. There are innocent Palestinians. There are that don't want it. But the problem is, if you go out and try to have these rallies and you're with all of these ISIS and Hamas supporters, Hezbollah, which are terrorist groups, you got an issue. You got a problem. And then, of course, you have professors and people at universities of higher learning. And it's not everybody there, but all it takes is one person to F it up for everybody. Cornell, Yale, promoting Hamas. They're promoting, when you promote Palestine, you promote Hamas, you promote Iran. I'm sorry, there's no way around it. You do. And now you have more of this anti-Israeli stuff that's out there. And then, of course, I'm still convinced, as I've told you before, Lizzie has as well, there are powers at play throughout this world that want those two sides fighting. It's like, I'm going all in on one side. I'm going on. That's what these powers want. That's why we try to have open conversations. That's why we brought in Helen Quasi, who's living in Jordan right now, to give the standpoint. Her best friends are Jewish in St. Louis.
Yeah.
It's like, they know me. They know that I am pro-Palestine, not with Hamas. But then again, you have to break it down because it comes to the land, and there's a lot of people who, that's what it all gets down to. Whose land is it? One state, two state. But one thing can't be denied. If anybody tries to tell you that you cannot be pro-Israel, is what happened on October 7th and what happened with the hostages. And the double-digit number of hostages are unaccounted for Americans that are still there. Sorry, it's a problem. It's a problem for the White House, and it's a problem for Joe Biden. But of course, we know he has a lot of them, unfortunately. So I don't know what else to do. Just it pisses me off that we continue to see all of this support for Hamas. And if you're promoting pro-Palestine right now, you're promoting Hamas. You are. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. It comes across that way because you've got pro-Hamas people with you, pro-Hezbollah, pro-Iran, because that's what it is all about. People jumping in, loving the set today. For our viewers who are there, you can catch us at cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks. We've got Pro Joe in the house. It's kind of a Halloween and fall look today.
It really is. Doesn't it look good? And Joe said he thought about making it even more scary and gruesome, but not everybody celebrates Halloween this way or Halloween at all. So I think he was a good call making it look like it was our backyard. That looks like Joe's backyard is why he did that.
That's a nice backyard.
Isn't it a nice backyard? That's Pro Joe's backyard.
Speaking of Halloween, and I know we have a lot of people coming in, but it's 8:07. We'll save the funny stuff for later. Let's run. I wanted to run this priest. He's a friend of mine. I've met him. I introduced him many years ago, explaining why Catholics, Christians can celebrate Halloween and that there is nothing wrong with it, and where it gets into bad areas if you do. I thought this was an incredible teaching video. Father Leo is a worldwide known person on TikTok, on social media. He's an incredible cook as well.
Oh, really? Does he cook?
Yeah, he's been on national media. He does everything. But here he is explaining Halloween.
Are Catholics allowed to celebrate Halloween? Well, of course you can, because it's actually the vigil feast to All Saints' Day on November the 1st. Halloween literally means hallow, holy, een, short for evening. It's the vigil before the Feast of All Saints. And while people have now turned it into a spooky time with ghouls and goblins, Dracula and skeletons, well, that actually is somewhat connected to the fact that there is a reality that our dry bones are going to come out of the graves, not as zombies or things connected to evil, but no, it's actually the precursor for resurrection. In fact, if you look at some of the sacred art of resurrection, it's going to look like bones coming out of the grave, Gabriel's trumpet blowing, and people are literally going to rise from the graves, not to scare us, but to experience eternal life. And so it's connected to a spirituality of memento mori, remember death. Remember that we will die, and it's nothing to be afraid of, because only when we die to self can we experience what the next day will bring, hopefully a call to become the saints that God wants us to be. And so, can we celebrate Halloween? Of course you can. Just stay away from anything that has to do with the occult, dark magic, witchcraft, Ouija boards, all that stuff. Those are portals to the evil one. And that's actually a looking at death in a fearful way rather than looking at death in a hopeful way in Jesus Christ. And so go ahead, dress up your kids. Just make sure, again, you stay away from anything that's evil, and maybe dress them as saints and celebrate together as a family. Because we can say, happy, holy evening. Happy Halloween. God bless you. Stay hungry for God.
Well said, Father
That was
Leo.
great.
Pat Leo tongue.
Love it.
Yeah, I tell you what, and the guy is amazing. I got a chance. I got to hang with him for 2 straight years, eat some of his food. It was amazing. Does that make you feel good? But you kind of knew this already.
I did. I even taught in a Catholic school for 3 years. And so Halloween was just a wonderful time to even teach in a Catholic school, because they definitely did it from a Christian standpoint. And then, the priest that we had said exactly like Father Leo did. The first time that I ever heard it was anything ucky was was a friend of mine. My husband and I are now Lutheran, but that's very similar to Catholicism, and they believe exactly.
And it's your
the same
Reformation Day.
It's our yes. It's so if you're a Protestant, especially if you're a Lutheran, this is also Reformation Day. So it's seen in a very positive light. My kids' elementary school didn't even have school today, not only because it was Halloween, but it was also because it was Reformation Day. But then I had some friends that would come over to my house and would be just quite offended with the fact that I celebrated Halloween because they said it was the devil's birthday.
You devil.
Yeah. So I
You're devil.
searched the Bible. It does not say it's the devil's birthday. There's not even a date in the Bible about the devil's birthday. Now, I respect people's right to do exactly what Father Leo says. People have taken it to the occult and have made it an evil holiday, but that's how your brain goes. We've said this before, like I think last week.
Human nature.
Yes, it's the way you want to see it. If you want to see it from the Christian standpoint, take your little kid out in the princess outfit and have a blast. If it bothers your soul, then just don't do it.
Easy. Well said.
Yeah.
Lizzie Sparks. I'm Vic Faust, Pro Joe in the house. Cancelthisshow.com. Of course, Monday through Friday. 100% intention, according to Kimberly. If you think it's evil, then you're just looking for it. But of course, as we know, it is a holy evening. And with that, we're going to bring him in just a second. It's interesting when we talk about dressing up your kids for costume. Just don't. Did anybody see any Joe Bidens this year for Halloween?
No, but that would be great.
Yeah, you could drink a lot, and you'd be right. You could be stumbling and bumbling around.
Yeah,
and you'd fit the part perfectly well.
Absolutely.
That would not be Mr. J. Ashcroft, though.
No, Mr. J. Ashcroft does not look like Joe Biden.
Hey, happy Halloween, Jay. Good to see you as always here. With that being said, we're jumping in. You celebrate Halloween with the family?
My kids like to get the candy. I hand out candy. I tend to be the one that stays at home and hands it out to everyone.
But people know who you are and where you live, right?
Some people do, but most people have no clue what the Secretary of State does. And I sometimes think that's good because they really know who you are when you've really thoroughly screwed up.
Well, see, I was worried about that for you because if people know who you are and then they're coming to your house, they're expecting, oh, yeah, we got to have this candy. Or if people know you and you're out to dinner, it's like you have servers looking at you. Because if any public people are ever out at dinner, it's like if it comes to tipping and if somebody's done something good or bad, you know what I'm talking about, Jay. It's like people know you and they talk about you in a good sense or a bad sense. So that kind of applies to your house for Halloween and candy.
Maybe. I'm just a normal guy trying to serve the people of the state, and people are very kind to me. I don't worry about it. I think people are sick and tired of elected officials and politicians that put on airs and pretend to be who they aren't. And I'm happy just to be me and do the best job I can every day.
Well, I wanted to get you on because you recently did an op-ed with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch talking about a St. Louis situation with crime and safety. It's pretty interesting. Can we focus on that a little bit? What sparked you to do that, and what has been the response?
Well, what sparked me was the concerns that we're having. Over a year ago, I had a couple of prosecutors come by my office when they were in town, and they started just describing to me concerns they had with our criminal justice system, with our courts, with some prosecutors, with our corrections system, probation and parole. And you never know whether or not what you're being told is true or not, even though people generally have the best of intentions. So all of last year, when I was traveling every county in the state, I intentionally talked to prosecutors, judges, sheriffs, police officers. And what I found really scared me. And until we get public safety and make that a real concern in this state, our state's never going to be the state it can be. We're not going to have the opportunity for the people of the state that we can have. And ground zero for correcting that is the city of St. Louis. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but you would be on board for some sort of state takeover. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but yes, I'm a big believer.
I'm glad you do say it. You're direct. The thing that we love about you, Jay, is you're direct. You're not like a normal politician who's trying to weasel in and weasel out. You're direct.
Well, and the problem is, generally speaking, you want local control because we want people in charge, not bureaucrats. We want to make the decisions as close to everyone as we can so they have as much impact so that we're actually serving the people we're supposed to be serving. But when the city of St. Louis has refused to do its job, when criminals feel free to do whatever they want and citizens are scared to leave their house, I think it's a moral imperative for the state to step in and set things right and say, we will not let this continue. The state needs to take over the police. We need to make sure that they're funded. We need to make sure that resources go where they should. I mean, we have police officers that are in their car, have to get out to chase a suspect, and to get out of the car, they have to roll down the window and open their car door from the inside because their car is broken. Or we have districts at times where there are no police on patrol because there are no cars that work. That's directly because of poor mismanagement by the city, poor budgeting, and it needs to stop.
Yeah, just last week again, I did see on Twitter, X, where there was another situation where there were only 3 911 call takers for like the 4th or 5th time for the entire St. Louis area in a night.
We have people being told that, if it's not, quote, that big of a crime, just call the non-emergency number. That's wrong. Look, I'm a big Second Amendment believer, and it's true what they say. When seconds count, the police may be a couple minutes away, so people have to be, and we have to protect the right for people to protect themselves. But we also need to support the police so that they can help us. These men and women that give their lives and put their lives on the line to do that, we need to support them.
Well, and Jay, a lot of people think that St. Louis City is not important to them because they don't live there. But what would you say to that? Why would you think that's important?
When St. Louis City does badly, our state does badly. When St. Louis City does well, it helps to elevate the rest of our state. And when you have crime running amok, which we have seen in the city of St. Louis, the criminals don't just say, oh, wait a minute, can't go into St. Louis County. We've got to stay in the city. They travel. We had individuals that broke into a beauty supply store in Jefferson City, 2 days ago, that were from St. Louis. And thankfully, in Jefferson City and Cole County, Missouri, the police went after them. We chased them. They worked with Callaway County, and they caught them. We're not going to put up with that sort of behavior here in mid-Missouri, and the people of the city of St. Louis shouldn't have to put up with it because their leaders refuse to support the people of St. Louis.
Yeah, on our show, we call that FAFO. We're not going to ask you if you know what that means, but it basically means try that in a small town, Jay. It's basically
play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I think that's the family version.
Oh, yeah, that's the family version, no doubt about it. Do you see any hope in St. Louis right now? Have things gotten better from the research and the numbers that you've gotten from a legal standpoint since Kim Gardner quit?
Yeah, I think that Gabe has done a phenomenal job to try to clean up the mess that the circuit attorney left there. The new circuit attorney is doing a great job. I think everybody in Missouri should be thankful that he's willing to take that job and rebuild that office. He could be making 3 or 4 times as much with better hours and less stress elsewhere, but he is acting as a true public servant. It shows that things can be changed if we're willing to put in the time, if we're willing to put in the effort, and frankly, if we're willing to call evil people evil and lock criminals up.
Yeah, it totally makes sense from that standpoint. Talk with Missouri Secretary of State, Jay Ashcroft. Jay, when it comes to the campaign trail right now, I know we still have some time, but once you put your name out there as you have, I guess it's full speed ahead. How is that going right now?
It's going well. I love talking to the people of the state. The people are yearning for a candidate or an elected official that actually does what they say they do, that has a record of accomplishing what they promised, that isn't just about social media, but get things done. And I think it helps that I'm more of an engineer, multiple degrees in that. I'm more worried about what do we get done, but people are scared. People are concerned. They want to have enough money to put food on the table and gas in the car. It can be done with a change in leadership.
I just get worried when it comes to elections, and I know, and you need money to get elected, and we talk about this on the show all the time. And we see it in DC too, Jay, where we get frustrated. And we just saw what happened with the Speaker of the House. And when people are helping you campaign, a lot of times you have to deal with them, whether they're lobbyists or PACs or things from that standpoint. I just get concerned that there may be another candidate in the state running for governor that's connected with a lot of people because of an institution that I was associated with that I hear is locking out the other two Republican people. I just get frustrated. Do you get worried that special money is an issue when it comes to elections?
I think it's human nature to get worried at times, but the polls show us with strong double-digit leads, the people, when they actually learn about the candidates and what they've done, not just what they've said, the polls improve. So, no, I just feel that as I continue to go around this state, as people learn more about who's running, I feel more and more confident. The people have been great and kind to me. And in the end analysis, it's all in God's hands. I'm just going to do what I should do and let God take care of the rest, and things will work out fine.
Do you see the videos of the president stumbling and bumbling around these days still again?
Are there any videos where he's not stumbling around or bumbling or not knowing what he's talking about? I mean, maybe those are the ones that are in black and white from when he first entered the U.S. Senate.
I know it's Halloween and we get a little out there sometimes. I just don't know how the man is continuing to lead this country. And I know that you're
He's
aware.
Not leading.
Yeah, that's
He's
a good
following.
point.
Here's the real problem. And I hate to say this. I never thought I would say this. But the real problem is the people of America didn't scrape together $15 to $20 million to bribe Joe Biden between other foreign countries did. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that. But look at the evidence of the millions of dollars that have flowed to his family from foreign countries, and look at the fact that he can't stand up for the United States. Look at the fact that he can't call evil evil when it comes to what's happening in Israel. He can't tell us, well, I was going to say he can't tell the difference between a man and a woman, but, he's the only Democrat I know that can. And if you think I'm lying, point to one time he sniffed a man.
Never.
That's true. He's never sniffed a man, come to think of it. That is a really good point.
I love you, Jay.
That is so good.
And you set up, when we get done with you, we're going to show a video because unfortunately it's sick, but he was sniffing away last night at the White House again as well.
That's the thing that people don't know about Jay is that he's really funny. He could almost be a stand-up.
No, he is. Did anybody ever tell you that? You could be a comedian?
Generally, they were talking about my looks, but we'll see. I've learned not to look at my shoes when I'm talking to other people as an engineer.
There you go. There you go.
Jay Ashcroft, Missouri Secretary of State. What is your website again? How can people support you in regards to your cause and your campaign?
AshcroftForMissouri.com on X, used to be Twitter, at JAshcroftMo, Ashcroft for Missouri on Facebook. Always open for questions. We need to make a difference. We need new leadership. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you are active, and we appreciate that. We'll catch up with you next time, Jay. Thanks again. Have a great day, and happy Halloween to you and your family. And I hope did you already buy the candy, or did your wife get it?
My wife is in charge of that. I've been traveling, so I will do what she tells me tonight.
Are you wearing a costume, Jay, today?
No, I'm not. I'm old school. I represent the people of the state in my position, so I'm one of the few elected officials you'll see walking around in a suit and tie all the time. I just think that's a way to show my respect for the voters of the state.
You should go get Orange Man plastic face tonight and open the door right there for you. Donald Trump handing out candy at Ashcroft's house.
There you go.
Jay, thanks again, man. We'll talk to you later.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All righty. Bye. Hopefully Gave you some cheer this morning, and hopefully we brightened up Jay's day as well. Politics can be tough, right, Jay? Yes.
Yes. Politics are tough. They're spooky. Politics are spooky and creepy in and of
Now,
itself.
could you imagine if he wore a Trump mask
I would love that. I would
at the
love that.
Ashcroft house?
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? that would be so fun. And you wonder how many little Bidens are going to be walking around and how many little Trumps are going to be walking around for Halloween.
I don't know.
Would you have dressed your kid as a Donald Trump or a Biden when they were little?
No.
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 Yeah. See, I would have.
No, I gave my son. I'm a little different.
Are you a little different?
Yeah. I've been trying to get a little better. Yeah, I am. I know. That freshman son, 1 year when Justin Bieber first came out, I helped him be Justin Bieber.
Oh, well, that's cool. I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, I dressed him as Justin Bieber, and the guy that like the young boys were like making fun of him.
Yeah.
But the girls loved him.
Yes.
I was like, just come on, just trust me, Drake. Trust me.
Mm-hmm. And then he was a girl magnet.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It'd be huge.
Yeah. Right now, I don't think
The
many
Twix.
girls like him as much.
The candy bar.
I can't.
I have to make reference around here to what I'm talking about with you, Lizzie, in your mind.
That's true. You have to spell it out for me. Spell it out.
Aaron says, I was a Clinton and a friend was Monica 1 year in college. That makes
that's
sense,
awesome.
especially when it was there. We were just talking about Biden. We might as well jump into Biden.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's show you the sad part first. Sniffing Biden.
Oh.
But Jay Ashcroft has a great point. You've never seen him lean over and sniff a man. It's only young, and this is where it's gross and sad, but it's young people and babies. It's like something about him and babies.
Mm-hmm.
This video last night, he leans in and he sniffs this little baby. And we can just play it over and over a few times just so people can see it. But look at this. He's like, hey, he's going to... He's got to get his sniff in. What is wrong with him?
Yeah. And it's so obvious.
And he's talking, but why does he have to get that close to the baby and
sniff?
Oh,
Did you see the mom's head whip? And I don't know if it's because.
Well, she took the baby up there. It's like
what
bringing
kind of mom does that?
Well, it's like bringing a baby to a pit viper.
That's exactly.
What do you
right.
think's going to happen?
Oh my gosh. You would wonder what in the world is she
Look
thinking?
at him.
But that's not
Doesn't he
normal.
look like the old, like, disgusting dude that just, like, stay away from that house?
Yeah, get away from me, dude.
That look at, he's like, no.
And that's right.
Don't take your kids up to that man.
No.
It's just the creep factor on Halloween is off the charts.
It really is. It really is. When you could pull that stuff up and see what he's doing, it's so weird.
She's smiling. Yeah, even the kid.
Uh-huh.
I just get the sense that the kid's like, what the
The kid literally gives him the WTF look right after he kisses him and then pulls away. Look at the kid's face. What did she just do and why?
He's like,
watch. Look at the kid. Like, what?
Yeah. And the mom, I mean, I think she had a regular mom reaction, like her head whipped. And I'm sure she was like, okay, this was uncomfortable, but I still love him because he is progressive.
Hopefully she's not a paid actor.
Well, and you know what? There you go.
Because those do exist as well.
Yes, they do exist.
Well, this is what Biden does year round.
Yeah, year round. Yeah. Let me come over here and let me sniff
Want some
your kid.
candy and then I'll give you a sniff.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate ice cream truck dude.
God. Oh, he is. That's a great analogy.
That would be a great Halloween costume, is Joe Biden in an ice cream truck.
Well, Tracy, I just looked down. She says, check the candy.
Right?
Oh, Donna says, please stop. To me, going, blah, blah, blah. He's a squinty eye creeper.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's bad enough, but we always talk about him being decrepit. And you know what? Jay Ashcroft is right. He doesn't sniff men or boys. He knows. Yuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now
So
check out the video just to see how feeble, decrepit, unaware, clumsy, uncoordinated, drunk looking that the man is with this. Look, he's trying to give the kid candy and watch what happens just over and over again. He can't even hold the candy.
And he drops the candy. good. And listen to that music in the background. It sounds like an elevator music.
Why is
to
he
an
shaking
old folk
it?
home.
He's shaking. Why is he shaking the
He
candy?
is shaking the candy.
It's Uncle Joe.
Oh.
Is that a box of candy cigarettes or something?
No.
It probably is. Here, little kid, come and I'm going to sniff you.
I love
you can
this
get some
show.
cigarettes
I
and we're going
love-
to smoke.
I love what we're able to do and show truth and just bring
Oh.
light. I mean, come on, the man is.
Oh my gosh. And you know what's so funny about this, but it's tragic at the same time. Who promoted this video more than anyone else that I noticed
Who?
was PBS. And that is our tax dollars. Don't get me started on PBS anyway, but it's like our tax dollars fund that. And, it costs a lot of money. Think about it. Taxpayers
That's
don't
a
pay
good
for
point.
this show. And so PBS, it's our money, all of our listeners' money, pay to promote this Yahoo.
Can we hear it again? Stephanie says Willy Wonka is playing in the back.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
That is eerie
Oh,
and creepy. Why are they playing that music?
that is so weird. When you look back at Willy Wonka, anyway, I used to like it, but my parents used to say that the adults in that show were really creepy.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, gosh, you just wonder about all of this now.
Questions, where's Hunter? We haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, because once it all started to come down on Hunter and Joe and the connection and the money and the crime, guess what happened? All of a sudden, more Trump news, immigration, Hamas, the Hamas attack to take everything away. Yeah, so Hunter, they've tried to get Hunter out of the mix because they knew that Hunter was killing Joe Biden in the ratings.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Yep.
That's why you don't see Hunter Biden anywhere, which is why it is sad. Dan also says, never realized PBS was so woke till many years later.
Yeah.
Oh, it's as woke as it gets. It's
Yeah,
super, super, super woke.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we have to. And then the shooting. Yes, Glenn, the shooting. Oh, we're not going to talk about Hunter and Joe Biden. I'm telling you, look at the media trends. This stuff just doesn't happen by chance. I
No.
know there's a lot of our friends and family members out there in the world. Oh, it's by happen chance. It just happenstance. No. When it starts to heat up, the House Oversight Committee,
Mm-hmm.
raining down terror,
Yep.
throwing boulders down the mountain on the Biden
Truth.
campaign, on the Biden family, truth boulders. We got to change the narrative somehow. And that's what they do. They change the narrative.
They do.
And when you control the media, that's what they do. And sometimes the stories and the things are so big that you have to change the narrative or at least talk about it because they're big stories. They know, they get this. This has been around for a long time. Trump has told us there is a deep state. If you believe in Donald Trump, if you agree with anything that he is about or has said, you have to believe that there is a deep state. So once you believe that there's a deep state, then you have to believe that there is deep trouble involved with that. That's why this stuff happens. What about the hockey slasher? You mean from the ice? Yeah, poor guy, if anybody didn't know, lost his life on them. It's interesting. I
so
was watching
sad.
this video. If you haven't seen the video, they kind of hit and they skate. His leg appears to like fly up in the air and
Mhm.
slice the guy's throat.
Ugh.
I know within a second.
Yeah.
No, I didn't give you that video. Within a second, there is a pool of blood on the ice.
Mm.
This is a former NHL player who is really good playing in another league now. Literally, the hockey skate, the blade, and from the time he got up immediately, tons of blood all over the ice.
Wow.
And unfortunately, he died.
I can't imagine.
It
he
was
would
that
have
quick.
died.
So
Wow.
now there's questions on whether there would be charges against the defenseman who was skating backwards and hit him, and his leg came up in the air. Sherry says it looked intentional. To me, guess what? It looked intentional as well.
Mhm.
But I showed it to multiple friends of mine, and they're like, they didn't think it was intentional. I was the only one who thought that, Sherry.
And is it even sad? I mean, like Sherry's probably not wrong. And it's like today we have to look at everything through a different lens than we did 15 years ago, because now things that probably happened 15 years ago, we didn't think it was intentional. We didn't think our government was doing it. We didn't think our media was doing it. Some people might have started waking up then, but now we question everything. And half the time it's so bizarre that we were
But
right
don't you
about
think?
it.
Yeah, I feel like we have to question.
We have to question. We can't.
And I
take
hate
anything
that,
at
but I
face
feel like
value
we
anymore.
have to.
No.
I hate it, but I feel like we have to. And that puts us into that situation.
Yes, we have to question. And it's interesting when you sit with people, I sat with a lot of elderly people over the weekend, and they literally were always taught not to question. So I'll say something to them and they're like, "Oh, Lizzie, we raised you to question, but now I think you've gone a little bit too far." And it's like, because they're in their 80s and they can't rationalize how things really are.
Yeah.
They just can't.
AKA enlightenment.
Yeah.
By the way, Greg says with the Wonka music that was playing that we were just showing with Joe Biden dropping candy boxes.
Yeah.
Wonka refers to the word snozberries, not snoozeberries, snozberries, right?
Right.
Well, that's the definition that describes Biden's snozberry.
that
He kind of is a snozberry.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
And people who don't want to believe what's going on, Bindi says they're in denial.
They are.
Derek also says regarding the hockey story, because we cover so much here, the throat guards are mandatory in lower hockey levels to protect from things like that, from pucks, from sticks, and obviously blades. I'm wondering when they might be mandatory in the NHL.
Yeah.
Things can happen, and we've seen skates slice NHL players. That's for sure. Greg says snozberries are dicks. What?
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know. We'll leave it there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Mean Guys.
Right, like Mean Guys. Well, that could be. That could be. It's Halloween. Anything goes. Anything goes. Anything goes.
Kind of. That's where we've been.
Yeah.
When we were on the Biden stuff with this in regards to, if you're just joining us, this is cancelthisshow.com. We'll show it again later in the 9 o'clock hour. Biden sniffing a baby again.
Yes.
Just gross, sick, creepy man, what decrepit, just everything about them. There's nothing redeeming about them. There just isn't. The whole family. And they're in the White House. Well, we'll get into that a little bit later. Then you have Joe Biden, and I don't even know who it is. If it's him, if it's Biden too. This is so interesting to see. Listen to this sound that we're going to play. What's happening right now? We're basically in World War III with Iran. That's basically where we are right now.
Truth.
And once again, as Donald Trump showed you yesterday, we played that sound. Donald Trump saying, for 4 years, there were no wars in the world when I was president. People knew. I kept people in their place. You don't like to hear a cocky, arrogant man, but he is so damn right. And he kept peace. He kept peace. It was great. Peace, major peace. He was all over the place. Well, guess what? Joe Biden has now destroyed America. The world is an unsettled place. And listen to what Joe Biden was trying to claim of Donald Trump back in 2020. Listen to this crap.
The world has changed because of what Trump has done. And the American people, including independents and some Republicans, know how bad he is, know how much he's misrepresented, know how he's getting close to getting us in a war. I said, as the walls close in on this man, I'm worried he's going to get us to war in Iran. Unfortunately, I may have been right. The fact of the matter is there's a lot at stake in this election. The world has changed because
Donald Trump would have said this about Joe Biden, and then this been used against him, it would be all over the world headlines. This is Joe Biden. People, I'm glad that most of you who are here, you guys get it. You have woken up. You're awake. You're not woke. Like, subscribe, share the show. Let people know. Take our segments, which are taped. You can go to them right after the show. Send them out. Let people know. Show them this sound. This is the kind of sound that needs to be sent everywhere. You're being lied to. We're being lied to. America has been lied to. It's all planned. This stuff isn't just happening by chance. There is a plan in place. And now we're seeing it played out.
Right. And a lot of people will not remember that soundbite or even have seen it. So I agree with you, Vic. They need to take this part of the show and say, hey, listen, right here. And then you can give them the time that it was said and let the Joe Biden people, and we all have them in our family. Everybody has at least one. I think we're getting less and less, but everybody has a Joe Biden lover still in their family. Show them that and ask them what they think about it. I'd love to hear their answer.
Bindi says, well, that's interesting. And this is another standpoint. Not only was he predicting the future of what he would do, because he's a liar, he's compromised as if all the Bidens aren't. He's also showing you how much he has fallen in 3 years. Not just literally, but figuratively. The man falls everywhere. But listen to him talk 3 years ago or 3.5 years ago to what he does now. Now it's like, hey, God. And then he sounded coherent in 2020.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And he can't do shit now.
Nothing.
Listen to that sound where that just shows you how fast he is falling.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, why I still don't think there's any way in hell the man he is going to run. He's still, I don't even know if he's officially said he's running yet.
He kind of beat it around.
He's kind of a shell of his former self is what we're starting to see.
Yep.
Aaron also reminds us that anybody that loves Biden and my family quit talking to me years ago.
That's
I could see that
probably
with how you are, Aaron.
Yeah.
I
very outspoken.
You're very direct and outspoken in your opinions. I very seriously doubt those people would be wanting to have a conversation with you. They'd be like, oh shit.
Here comes Aaron. He's going to speak his truth bombs.
Not going to be dealing with that today. That's for sure. But it has to be said. These are the things that are going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's bad, where this stuff just continues to happen over and over and over again. But it is Halloween. And considering the fact that it's Halloween, and we've got another message today, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris has a message for everybody.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, here's
I'm thrilled about it.
Here's Cammie Harris. This is kind of tongue in cheek, and I love this person. I think her name's One with Dahlia. I'll look it up, but here we've played him in the past. I laugh. Joe will get that set up for us. Kamala Harris with a message for everybody on this Halloween.
Happy Halloween from the White House. Okay. Trick or treat. Boo. We're still in office. And the tricks, those are for the Americans, and the treats, it looks like Hunter's already gotten those. He left a little bit at the White House. Hope you guys have a great Halloween. There's nothing scarier than us being in office still. Good luck.
We'll get her.
That's funny.
We're going to get her on at some point.
We've got to.
If you don't follow her on Instagram, you should. It's On the Daily with Dahlia.
I love it.
On the Daily with Dahlia.
I wonder how many cammies there's going to be.
If anybody knows Dahlia, tell her we'd like to get her on the show too. I'm going to reach out. We got to get her on the show.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. I love her laugh too. It's just
the laugh. It's the Cammie laugh.
You know, I won't say who it is, but yesterday we were at the hospital and there was somebody that was saying, and I almost busted up laughing, and our whole family could not stop laughing a little bit, but we had a relative that go, gosh, 60 minutes, I think is now 90 minutes. And so there's three.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about again?
Okay. So I had a relative yesterday with a straight face talk about Cammie, and apparently she was on 60 Minutes, and they add
Sunday
minutes.
night she was.
And I didn't watch
it. Was a decent interview. It was decent.
Well, and she was like, oh my gosh, she's just so right, and she's just so brilliant, and literally my husband and my sister-in-law, literally we were very unkind, I guess, because we started laughing. We're like, I do. She's like, no, you should be watching 60 Minutes. And so I tried to, stand up straight, go, because we were in a hospital. It wasn't a time or a place for me to go, you're just damn stupid on this topic. But it was like, even in the hospital under a dire situation, we all just laughed at her. I mean, it was like, you cannot really think that Cammie.
How old is the woman?
She's in her 80s. And so that, and all weekend long, we were talking to people, not just like this lady, but several other people in their 80s, and they literally still 100% lockstep think mainstream media is right. And we'll show them this podcast, and this is what they'll do. The people, you're so funny. That's a good comedy show. I'm like, okay, but it is funny, but we're speaking the truth.
It's legit. It's
totally
concerning.
True. And most people know that. But these elderly people go, oh, honey, that's so nice. Like, what the hell's wrong with you people? And they're like, we're old and we can't change now. And I'm like, yes, but you are the leaders of our family, and the grandkids are looking at you and they respect you. So you've got to, till your dying breath, speak truth. Not just what the mainstream media is saying to you. So I guess we were kind of making fun of Aaron there, in a good way, but people say that about me too. You need to just simmer down, honey. Sometimes you just get on these tangents, and I'm sure most of our listeners have been told that too.
When people hear things in life that they don't want to hear.
Yes.
And that could go for any of us. And I've had to check myself too. We may find it aggressive.
Correct.
We may find it, abusive. we may, as the Democrats try to say, oh, that's bully tactic. You got to get used to hearing things that you don't like.
Correct.
And that you don't agree with. There's a way to handle it. There's a way to talk about it. But just because somebody hears something that they don't like does not mean that you're a bully or that you're on, as you, what'd you say, a tangent? Is that
that was the word that was used. Oh, honey, you're just off on one of your tangents. These elderly people think when I'm speaking the truth, as our listeners know, that they think I'm off on a tangent. And Cindy said a good comment here. She said she talked to a friend about the same thing. And the thing is, they can relate to Biden. Here's really a good comment about that. If they admit something is wrong with him, then they admit something is wrong with themselves. And that's a really good
point. It's
point.
A pride issue.
It is a pride issue.
That's what we've talked about before. You've got to be able to humble yourself, drop your pride, and then you can deal with things.
Correct. And if you hold on to your pride about any issue, it won't happen.
By the way, on Halloween, another update, just make sure I'm throwing this stuff in. We got a guest coming up here at 9:00. You won't want to miss Rachel. What's Rachel's last name again?
HAMAS.
Rachel is going to update us on a situation in the St. Louis area where a man dressing as a female with a beard, a goatee, dressing as a woman, is in charge of the children's section at a St. Charles library. And it's not only is that a horrible, fascinating story, but what's also interesting, it's now pitted two Republicans against each other.
It absolutely has.
And we're going to break that down in about 15 minutes.
It's really good. And I won't talk about it now. We'll wait till she's on there. But the one that is fighting about it, a lot of people are very surprised. When I owned my business, he was right next door to me. So I know how he really is. And we'll save it for when she's there. But it's two Republicans. Well, one really isn't a Republican, but he says he is. So.
Well, this has been a Halloween theme show, as you can tell by our graphics. By the way, for people who are jumping in and watching the show now, and or people who are watching the tape segment, Projo put that together. He is amazing with graphics and editing, pictures. He's a terrific photographer. It's photobyjoepro.com. Is that right?
Photobyjoepro@gmail.com.
Photobyjoepro@gmail.com. Photobyjoepro@gmail.com. Just to promote him and the work that he does. So we love it. Getting a lot of compliments today in regards to what we see there. Halloween candy prices.
Yeah.
13% from last year. I think you gave me that update.
I did. I saw that.
That's double what the prices were last year for candy.
Correct. And one of my kids said, Mom, how come I don't see as many people that have decorated this year? And I said, honey, people are broke.
You know what? What a great point.
Yeah. We were driving through our neighborhood.
Oh my God. I have not seen as much as I did. But people who love Halloween. True. And they're still up and those people still have it. But I think I see less than half of my subdivision. And I wasn't going to bring it up to my youngest, but she did to me. She's like, where's the festivity? I go, people are sad, honey. There's no money and everything is double the cost. And you can find bargains and stuff, but it's still not at the prices that they were just last year. Hence the Halloween candy. I know people who are not, they can't pass out candy this year. They don't have the money. They just don't. That's crazy that it would go all the way down to candy.
Yeah, it's all the way gone down to candy. So I know that, the big trick or treats and churches are having it. So that's where people are going because it's easier for one, but people don't have the money.
Interesting too. Greg says trunk or treats changed things as well. They did. Those have become super popular in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
the trunk or treats are massively popular.
Mm-hmm.
Bendy said even pumpkins
they
are
sure
expensive.
Are.
I've been out of the market for candy and pumpkins, so I don't know. You guys are educating me on this today because I wouldn't have been able to tell you the price of a pumpkin at all. But I guess what? Everything is more expensive with Joe Biden and inflation. We talk about it with everything. Donna says they decorated like crazy in 2020 while they still had some money.
Yes.
Now they don't.
That is
Mary says the kids will be freezing their little butts off every time they open the door tonight, or anybody will be. And Aaron says I didn't decorate as much this year. Not in the mood. Ghoulish things when we live in a ghoulish world already. I get that as well. This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Projo. Halloween themed. Who was the first lady to decorate the White House for Halloween?
Does
anybody? Now you're all going to go to Google.
But that's okay. We're not going to tell them the answer. Put it on the chat line. So ask them again. So be thinking.
Who was the first lady, literally first lady to decorate the White House for Halloween?
So you may have to go to Google. Well, let's see who can find it first.
I know who the first president was to put the rainbow on the White House.
Yeah, I know who that was too.
That was, well, I'm Barack Obama. Just wait until you see the prices of live Christmas trees this year. Live Christmas trees, alive Christmas trees, real Christmas trees. Betty Ford is not the answer. Eleanor Roosevelt is not the answer, but I appreciate you guys taking guess without looking it up. Not Bessie, not Truman. You guys are still trying to throw it out there. And you have to go in the Wayback Machine for this. And of course, Sherry, you win it. It was Mammy Eisenhower, October 30th, 1958. The White House was decorated for Halloween for the first time.
That's awesome.
Well, Aaron says that was his coming. That's when he came out of the closet night, Barack Obama.
Yeah, I think it really was.
It was literally letting people know I'm coming out of the closet
I
without saying it. I'm
Mhm.
saying it. I am a gay man. And, the country would have said, fine, that's who you are. Just be honest with us.
Yeah, just stop lying about it.
And don't do that anymore. Also interesting stuff with this Halloween politics combination thing. I love this that you got to us. Real skeletons. I wouldn't have had a problem. I don't get weird around skeletons.
I don't either.
Spiders.
Yeah.
Tarantulas.
I like it all.
Snakes I'd have an issue with.
Me too.
But real skeletons were used in the movie Poltergeist from 1982 because it was cheaper and more cost effective than creating plastic fake ones.
That's so interesting.
Think about that.
Yeah.
And think about that. There's a very popular scene from that movie where a woman is in water with a skeleton. Joe, I bet you'd have an issue with that. You strike me like you like the gross factor.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be in mucky water with any kind of skeleton, whether it's been bleached and preserved. No thanks.
Would you be okay if it was a fake one?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. Just seems kind of creepy to do something like that anyway.
Yeah, I sent you the picture of that from Poltergeist, but to use real.
Yeah, that is so crazy. And like Michelle is saying, messing with the dead. Nope. Don't want to be messing with that. That is so weird.
But we'll show you this picture of the skeleton from, and the actress was Jo Beth Williams, and she was terrific in that movie. She wasn't told that it was.
She wasn't told. Yeah,
she was not made aware that there were real skeletons that were being used in the scene until after she finished using it.
That was probably good. She didn't know. Yeah, that was good. I mean, that's one of the times you don't want people to lie to you, but I mean, look at her face.
I mean, part of that, I'm sure, is the acting, because at this time, she didn't know that it was a real skeleton, apparently.
Right.
No, she didn't at that time.
Right.
But that was a real skeleton.
That's so gross.
I think about that. It's like, my God, are you kidding me? So that picture from Poltergeist, Jo Beth Williams, the actress, using a real skeleton, but she did not know. What would the look have been?
Yeah.
She probably wouldn't have been there if she were me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Hey, but here's the thing, though. It wasn't just Poltergeist. Other movies did it as well. And I guess it makes total sense. Apocalypse Now is one of the other 7 movies that used real human remains in their production, either intentionally or by accident. How could you use it by accident? That was the whole thing with the Mud movie with
accident.
With Baldwin. I was like, how do you mess up a real gun and a fake gun?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been on movie sets, as you guys know, and yes, they can be complicated, but everybody has a specific job. There is no way in hell a real gun could have gotten faked.
Well, in all fairness, it was actually the bullets. The guns are always real.
The fake bullet. That's what I meant.
It was supposed to be fake bullets. Well, there wasn't supposed to be any bullets in the gun, to my understanding.
A real bullet should not even be on set anywhere.
Right.
That was my issue with that whole thing. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I think they still don't know how the real bullet got on set.
Glenn, and it's funny, Glenn brings this up. By the way, I still get royalties from Batman Superman.
Uh-huh.
And you barely hear my voice in that movie, but it was on 2 days ago. Again, so I just laughed. I was like, I'll probably be getting a check soon.
Your voice?
Yeah. And
that is so cool.
Well, see, I thought it was going to have a bigger role. I thought I talked about this on the show before.
You might have. I don't remember that.
No, so I did an entire day's shoot. And this is what I'm glad, because the Parson, this is political, this is entertainment, this is Halloween, this is everything. Governor Mike Parson, Missouri, signed a 20% tax credit for movies to be shot here in the state. There's a debate, politically speaking, giving tax credits, do they really help a state or not when it comes for the movie industry? Well, when I was in Detroit, the state of Michigan had these tax credits. So a lot of movies were being shot in Detroit. So as a side job, I went and tried out for movies, and I made 3 of them as a reporter. Real big stretch. It was easy.
Wow. Very cool.
But think about this. Many movies have reporters in them at some point in time.
They sure do.
So Batman, Superman. So I shot for an entire day, like $10 or 10-hour day. They paid me a lot of money, literally had my own scene. It ended up getting deleted, but you hear my voice where I'm in a helicopter.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So they had me suspended. The helicopter was probably, I don't know, 20 feet off the ground. You climb up into it, and fans as big as this room blowing in.
Wow.
And they didn't give me a script to memorize before I went in. They literally came to me, and you had like 2 minutes before you were set. I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, what the hell? What am I going to say? They're like, oh, they'll talk to you about it, because everybody's busy. Like I said, everybody in movies has their own spot. So right as I was going up, this woman comes up to me, and she's like, okay, you're in a helicopter. We're chasing around this monster that's jumping from in Gotham from building to building. And you're going to describe it as it's a live shot. It's a live shot. You're going to talk about, oh my God, we're live from the scene. We're chasing this monster jumping from building. And then they said, just live, like free flow for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
And then and the wind's blowing in here, and you're like,
how fun.
But yeah, so it didn't, and I really thought I was going to get a shot in there. You don't see my face. You kind of hear my voice. They kept the scene somewhat, but so many of those things get blocked. Well, case in point, when it comes to those movies, that's what made me think about that, is the fact that I still get royalty checks, and this goes all the way back to like 2014.
That's awesome.
Like I'll get a $50 check.
Yeah. But I bet that's fun. It's maybe not a lot of money,
I
but that's
got a $70
so
check, and I'm like, but it's like
that's
it's
so
making
cool.
it's making its rounds through like international.
Yeah. I love it.
I was like, how in the hell am I still getting $30 or $40 checks?
That is
$50
so cool.
check. And the reason that I started talking about that was because Glenn from the chat line said, do the skeletons families get any royalties? That's a great point.
That's a great question. I'm guessing that they might in Disneyland, because Chris earlier said the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, when it first opened, had real skeletons, but they've now since
Where at
removed.
Disneyland? I would not be surprised
Right.
for that to be at Disneyland.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, Chris says, speaking of movies, apparently there's a movie that's going to be shot in St. Louis at the end of this year with William H. Macy. Yes, it's I think it's called Burn. This guy is an amazing, he was burned as a kid in a garage fire. And then it's about, I heard about this because an actor friend of mine was asking me if I knew about the director or had any insight into what was going on with that movie. But a St. Louisan who had to overcome everything in his life, and he's a motivational speaker. I cannot remember his name. You guys will bring it up because you guys are great. I thought it was called Burn. I'm not sure. Glenn says Fire. It's called Fire, not Burn, but Fire. The John O'Leary story.
And they're looking for extras, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be fun to be an extra.
It is, but it isn't. It's fun if you have all day to waste. Okay.
Yeah.
Because movies can take forever to shoot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my Danny Motor story. He was a director of me. He was married to Jennifer Roberts.
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts.
Okay.
Yeah, he yelled at me really bad.
Did he?
On a set of a different movie.
Oh no. Did he make you cry?
No, but I was like, oh shit, I want to leave. I'm like, let me leave.
Yeah.
One director was telling me to do one thing. There were co-producers. And Danny Motor was one, and then there was another guy. And Danny Motor wanted one thing, and this other guy wanted me to make this move and race up and put my arm and leg one way and ask the first question. And Danny didn't want me to say shit.
Danny wanted you to be quiet.
And so the producer said, do this. So I went up and did it. And I was very aggressive. And then he's like, cut. And he's like, we have stars. We don't need you. You are a reporter. You come up and you hold your mic out. That's it. And then the other guy is very, very more low key.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, Danny, come here. So then they talk, they come back.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny's like, you got it? I said, yeah. Then the other guy, the other producer goes, do it again.
Do it again. That's funny. Do it again after you
I
were
did
yelled
it again.
at.
Danny didn't say, he was pissed.
I'm sure
They
Danny was
stopped and they went over and talked, and then we didn't shoot the scene anymore. And I'm like, oh my God.
because they're wearing a little battle you probably didn't even know about.
But by the way, that movie, it was called, what was it called? It's Highland Park. That was really popular. Went straight to DVD.
Straight to DVD.
we had a 12-hour day one day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, so being an extra is not as easy.
Yeah.
It can be cool if you like it, but it can take forever.
Yeah.
Not to bore people. The other movies with human or used, it's either 7 movies that used really human remains in their production, either intentionally or by total accident. Apocalypse Now, Poltergeist. Of course, we're showing you that shot. We were just showing you that. Men Behind the Sun. I don't remember that movie. Dawn of the Dead, 1978. Unrest in 2006. I'm not familiar with that. Thriller, A Cruel Picture, and an absolutely terrible movie, Faces of Death.
Faces of Death.
All used real skeleton human remains in the movies, not fake ones. Okay. Anyway, Vic was a B-movie stuntman in another life.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you even made Danny Moto or whatever his name
Danny
is.
Motor.
Julia's husband. Pissed.
But the best experience was in a movie called Home Run Showdown that was very popular on DVD because for 10 years, I had people messaging me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, my kids love the movie you're in. It was called Home Run Showdown. And it was about a baseball team. And one of the stars of the movie is from St. Louis. She was here in St. Louis. Long story short, I was living in Michigan, met him, became kind of friends with them when I moved back to St. Louis. But that was a movie that made a lot of money on, not like Batman, Superman, but I actually had speaking roles in that movie, which was a lot of fun to do. I can't remember her name. She was in a movie, Mystic Pizza, with Julia Roberts as well.
Yeah.
Annabelle and anyway, my trailer, I had my own trailer for that movie, believe it or not, when I was there.
Do you still have that?
No, I didn't.
If you could still find it and show it, I'm sure the listeners would.
It was kind of right before social media, like 2007, 2008. But Annabelle Heche was awesome to deal with. Just
Annabelle
great.
Heche.
Her and her husband were looking for things to do, and
Mm-hmm.
just a whole lot of fun there.
How fun.
Glenn, I was not in any adult movies yet, but I may have to sell myself out if we don't make a lot more money on this show.
Yeah. And
I'm
you know
kidding.
what? He's going to sell himself out because that's why he couldn't wear the Vic Energy costume
Yeah,
today
yeah,
because you're
no.
saving it for later.
Yeah, big energy somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, by the way, it's a Halloween show. We're kind of off the beaten path today. Thanks for joining us. CancelTheShow.com. I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe. Special thanks to Complete Auto Body Repair, sponsoring of the show. 7 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area when it comes to getting your cars taken care of. When you go in, let them know you heard about them on CancelTheShow.com. They're also looking for lots and lots of employees, whether you're a mechanic, whether you're in sales, whether you do something else, they'll put you to work there. That will work for you there. Also, Experience Realty Partners, Kathy Helbig Strick, Steve Strick, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Also, New American Funding Mortgage when it comes to Steve Strick. They also have a company, we'll be talking to him tomorrow, New Age Health Wellness, when it comes to testosterone, when it comes to Smorlin, when it comes to the skinny shots. Lots of really good things going on there. Getting your blood work done first, of course. They'll be talking about that. Also, Ham will be in studio tomorrow, Route 66. Looking forward to that when it comes to everything from your cannabis products.
I was just in there yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you purchase any products?
I did. I went to the Winsville location.
Did you tell him? I hope you told
I did.
him.
Did you tell him
Absolutely.
that you are pro Joe, not just anybody?
I told him that I'm a part of the show, but yeah, I did mention the show for sure.
Nice.
Nice.
We'd love to hear that.
And actually, if you go in there and you mention the show, they'll give you a discount.
Did you get your discount?
I did.
All right. Yeah, Ham said he would do it. And by the way, in that industry, it's a big deal because you can't really because that industry is so heavily regulated. They don't have like, hey, 20% off, 30% off. That's Ham doing that so that we got an opportunity to track what's actually happening through cancelthisshow.com. All right. We appreciate you guys jumping in. Another big topic that's going on. Speaking of costumes and Halloween, I guess this would somewhat apply. There is a guy, a man, a biological male, who is in the St. Louis, Missouri area. He has decided to work in a library. And somehow, some way, he has been given, I guess, leadership of the children's section of this. Did you want to introduce our guest from this?
Yes. Do we have Rachel?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to bring Rachel in, Rachel is a real warrior fighting things a lot of us want to. And what she's fighting is in Missouri, there is a library system called St. Charles City County Library that there is a cross-dresser, if you want to call it, or a transgender. It depends on, I'm not even really sure, drag queen. I think it's basically, I definitely know they have drag queen hours, but she's fighting the good fight. And Rachel, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, could you start off by telling us what is going on and what you're doing about it?
Yeah, so happy Halloween. We want to talk about something terrifying. It's going to be that Drag Queen Story Hour is so on the outs now, because why just do an hour when you can just have the drag queen running the children's section at the library? So last May, I took my son to go get a library card, and lo and behold, behind the children's desk was a man with a goatee, and he was cross-dressed, had fingernails painted, gaudy makeup, heavy makeup. It was gross. I obviously removed my son immediately. And since then, I have been fighting this in St. Charles. And St. Charles, Missouri, excuse me, is a very conservative county, primarily conservative. So why this is in our libraries is beyond me. But to fast forward through the story, kind of, a little quickly, we've done a lot of work. The whole county council in St. Charles, they are on my side, and unanimously they voted that they did not want this person to be dressing in drag.
And that's a big deal, Rachel, because we've had several stories about the county council, the Republicans fighting with each other on other issues.
Exactly. So for them to be unanimous on this, and not just be unanimously like vote on, they all half of them wrote a resolution and proposed it to the library CEO, Jason Kuhl, who is a liberal hack, by the way. He was hired from Chicago and he was fired in Chicago for controversial programs. So why we hired him here in St. Charles is beyond me, but that's a whole other story. So I've got the county council on my side. Unfortunately, the resolution that they proposed, there's not much that they can do, because what's happened is our libraries in America, they act as autocracies. So they're basically like little dictatorships. And so they can't do much. What they proposed in the resolution, which basically just said that they wanted political neutrality throughout the library is not going to do anything about it, because they're like, we can do whatever, we want. And that's not fair. And that's not American, because the American taxpayers pay for that library. 90% of St. Charles taxpayers pay for that. 10% comes from the state. So yeah, it's a huge abuse of power. It's totally to push an agenda. It's my cause has even kind of like bled into pornographic books. I found a book in the nonfiction section of one of the libraries that was entitled "Bang Like a Porn Star." And it literally was a picture book of men, naked men, engaging in sexual activities. And I was just like floored. I'm like, what is this doing in our library? And then that obviously bled into the children's books. And the children's books that are the graphic novels, and so they're illustrations. And so they think they can get away with obscenity laws because it's an illustration. But these gross, disgusting books that are even in the kids section with children masturbating and children engaging in sexual activities, But again, they think that it's okay because it's, it's not a picture. Oh no, absolutely not. We're going to get all this filth out of the library. We're going to get all of this degeneracy, whether it's cross-dressing, whether it's the books, any materials, we're getting it out. We're taking back our libraries. It's
You
been
give me
amazing.
chills. That's how you
No.
got to do it, Rachel. You've got to go and you got to fight.
Right.
You
And
have to go. You have to show up. You have to fight. You have to get loud. It gets nasty. I'm sorry. That's just how politics are. And you just have to go with it. And if you don't, guess what? Then you're just going to have to bow down to it. So those are your choices.
Rachel, we had a question. As a resident of St. Charles, our property taxes fund that library, right? So I feel this should be brought up at a community meeting with the mayor. Can you please address the situation and what that experience has been like with the mayor, who I believe would be Dan Borgmeyer?
Yes, Dan Borgmeyer. So how our small government works with the library specifically is that there is a board of trustees. And there are 9 people on that board of trustees. And 5 of them are basically appointed by the executive, who is Steve Ellman. And 4 of those are elected by or appointed by Dan Borgmeyer. And the reason behind that is because of the history of St. Charles. That's why it's called the St. Charles City-County Library. But that, I think, needs to change. I don't think it should be just down to these 2 men that are deciding these, because what's happened is the board is who runs the library. They're the ones who hire the CEO. They're the ones that regulate everything. They're the ones choosing these books to be purchased with our tax money, with our taxpayer dollars. And so obviously, yes, we have put tons of pressure on Steve Ellman and Dan Borgmeyer. Steve Ellman actually did just recently appoint a conservative to be on that board, because right now that board has no conservatives. Like one person, Matthew Seeds, maybe is he's a wishy-washy conservative. And I'm hoping, he's listening and, he mans up a little bit. But we were able to appoint another person, Buddy, to join that board amongst a sea of liberals. So we're pushing back. Dan Borgmeyer is to be appointing 2 others as well. So we're hoping we can get 4 good, decent conservatives on that board of trustees and kind of balance it out just a little bit so that they can't abuse this power much anymore.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because I have had people tell me that they don't have as much faith. Maybe they do in Steve Ellman, that they're pretty assured that he's going to vote a conservative, or at least someone that won't have the perverted things in there. But many people are doubting the mayor because they don't know how he swings, so to speak, that the mayor has been pushing back, but not in a good way. Can you expound upon on that?
Well, the mayor and I don't, we have beef.
Mm-hmm.
He's tried to have me arrested 3 times.
Who did?
What?
Yes.
What, the mayor?
Yeah. Actually, at the last city council meeting that I attended, he had me physically removed by the police. And when I say physically, I mean manhandled and literally thrown out of the building.
But why?
Because
Why did he want that done?
Because I brought up the book, Bang Like a Porn Star, and I showed the pictures that were in the book.
None of that's illegal, right? None of that's breaking the law?
It shouldn't be. I mean, if it's in our public library and if it's on the second shelf from the ground that little kids can access, you would think that grown people on a city council and the mayor could handle it, right? I mean,
that is crazy.
He does not like me very much, which, oh, boo-hoo. But I will say this, supposedly, Steve Ellman and Dan Borgmeyer had a meeting a couple weeks ago with Jason Kuhl, the CEO, the liberal hack that's running our library system. And from what I've been told, that they're basically giving Jason an ultimatum to get those materials sequestered. So anything that is deemed harmful to children and that is sexual in nature are to be sequestered.
But who is in charge of deciding whether it's harmful to children? Because obviously Jason, with all due respect to him and the cross-dressing man, felt that it wasn't harmful to children.
So that's, again, where what has happened is really disgusting, because they have a reconsideration process for the library. So you can challenge any book in the library and say, we don't want this in our system. But the same people who are buying the books to put in the library are the ones that, oh, wait for it. They're the ones deciding whether the book stays or not. So there's no type of oversight. There's no types of checks and balances within the library systems, at least here. And this happens all over the country. We're not like unique to this situation, because liberals tend to think that libraries are theirs, because liberals are more bigger government minded and everything. And so they just automatically think, oh, well, the libraries are ours because we like government and conservatives don't, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, no, we pay for it.
Exactly. And this gets, and we're big believers of First Amendment. You can go out and say whatever you want and do what you want to do. But that doesn't mean you hire people who are going to bring in all kinds of material that are clearly inappropriate for kids. That's the one thing. It's the books that are there. The second part of this is, and I'm curious, what do you do with the crossdresser being hired for that position? Are they giving, or are you getting word that Jason needs to fire this individual or tell this individual he can't dress like that with kids or be associated to a different part of the library?
So first off, the First Amendment, people need to realize it does not protect all speech. Obscenities are not protected under the First Amendment.
Okay.
And these books and everything, so therefore they are not protected. And there are obscenity laws that the library is breaking within Missouri. And so they should get pretty scared about that. But to answer your other question, no, Jason Cool thinks that he's protecting Danny, the drag librarian, like tooth and nail. And so is Dan Borgmeyer. Dan Borgmeyer has said to my face several times, I've met with Danny and Danny's a nice guy. I like him. And, I don't know what is wrong with Dan Borgmeyer, but he keeps saying, and he would tell so many people, he has the 1A and the 2A right to do what he's doing. And I'm like going, what is Danny packing heat too? Like what?
Well, and Danny is also the one when the Black Lives Matters came, he knelt with the Black Lives Matter.
Dan did? Dan Borgmeyer?
Dan Borgmeyer. He absolutely do. I didn't bring it today. I didn't think about that, but I have pictures of him because I was there watching it and live feeding it. And I'll be damn if he didn't kneel with them. And he took some heat, but it's just surprising. I could tell you stories after stories about Dan. I owned a childcare center. He was my next door neighbor. And it was interesting because I had my candidates up there, which of Trump and other conservatives, and we shared a parking lot and we shared highway frontage. And they would disappear every night. So I didn't know who was doing
Your signs were disappearing?
My signs were disappearing.
Oh, no. I think I know where this is going.
My signs were disappearing. And at the time, I was very much for Eric Greitens. I like Eric Schmidt too, but, had my very conservative people signs, and they would disappear every day. So finally, being a childcare center, we had cameras outside. So we zeroed them. And you could just imagine day after day who had been taking my signs. Just think about who might have been taking my signs.
I'm not surprised at all, because when I actually called out Dan Borgmeyer and was like, well, that's funny. You've met with Danny, the drag librarian, several times. I would like to set up a meeting so that we can talk. And he's like, no, I'm not meeting with you. He refuses to meet with me. And he hangs up the phone on me anytime I call him.
Who hangs up the phone?
Dan Borgmeyer, our mayor.
So you call him and he is a professional
elected official.
Yes. And he hangs up on you.
He acts like a child. Yes. He's hung up on me so many times and he refuses to get back with me. He is a child. And then again, like I said, he's tried to have me arrested 3 different times.
Here's the thing. I am sure that the librarian, he is a really kind, nice guy, in what he thinks. But it's a different situation when you're around kids. Hey, if you want to paint your toenails, your fingernails, if you want to wear makeup, if you want to wear dresses, fine. But why is it intentionally being put in front of kids to try to sway?
That's the
and what's funny. You want to know what's interesting, Vic, is that.
And I'd like to talk to Dan myself. Dan, what's up with that, bud?
So
Does
just
Dan
last
have kids?
week.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go
Last
ahead.
week I had somebody say, hey, I just saw Danny, the drag librarian, over at Salt and Smoke and eating dinner with his girlfriend. And lo and behold, he's dressed just like a man. He's dressed normally.
Wait. So
Mhm.
you're telling me that he goes to the library.
Yep.
And he's a cross-dresser.
Yep.
But then he goes down the street to Main Street or wherever, and he's sitting there with a wife, and he looks like a man.
Yep.
Okay, to me, that's child grooming then.
Yeah.
We're going to find out someday, this is just my opinion and my speculation, we're going to find out someday that he's a pedophile, that he lives his life with his wife one way. You see this all over. But then on the side...
I'm getting confused by wife.
Right? The
I'm
whole
sorry.
thing is
I'm not trying to be
confusing.
funny.
The whole thing is confusing, but that's what I'm saying.
The cross-dresser's wife. Okay.
These people are mental. They have really serious issues.
I do, and I think it goes deep, and I think this goes with most liberals, is that it's a deep-rooted narcissism, and that's why they're always like these activists, and they're loud and they're boisterous and everything, because they're always trying to prove something. And to me, I feel like it's just this huge, this big level of narcissism that it's all about them. Me. I want the spotlight, And I 100%, I believe that Danny the drag librarian is doing it just for attention.
Well, he certainly might be. Where does this stand now? What is the next step and everything that's going on? And how can people help or join you in this crusade that you're trying to take care of?
So as of right now, with the drag librarian part, we're trying to figure out, how to enforce a neutral dress code. Again, the county council has already had their resolution. We're trying to figure out how to make it binding so that the library does comply with the people and the citizens who pay for the library. The biggest thing is you just have to keep making a stink. Show up. You need to come to these meetings. The next library board meeting is November 14th at 7:00 at the Spencer Road Library Branch. Come, show up. Come see me. Come talk to me. Come join all of us. Come early so you can speak. If you want to speak, show up at about like 6:15 so that you can get in line. That's what's going to cause the change. Because again, right now we're in this autocracy and we have to kind of wait. And there is a process until we can start getting more of those trustees turned and flip those seats per se to conservatives. And until then, we have to continue the fight. We have to continue going. Because if we don't, if we falter back a little bit or anything, they're just going to resume control. And so we need to stay angry. We need to stay outraged about this, because I don't want my children to be exposed, to this sexual degeneracy, and neither do the people of St. Charles. I mean, it's very clear that people don't want this. People have been complaining about Danny the drag librarian for a very, very long time. So when it comes to the drag librarian, that's what you can do right now. You can also contact me on my Instagram or on Facebook. I'm the St. Charles Library Mama Bear.
Nice.
I love that. I love that.
You can also call me or text me. I give out my number. I don't care. And my number it's 303-815-3946. And just get involved. That's the biggest thing. We have to show up. We have to show the numbers, because remember, the opposition, they know how to do that well. They are very good at congregating. They do it very well. They can orchestrate things, with short notice and everything. That's how they are, because that's how they live their lives. They're these activists and stuff. Whereas like conservatives, we just want to, deal with our family and go to church. And, we have things that we're doing. But they dedicate their lives to this activism. So we have to step it up. But then also, as part of like the books and everything, the obscene books, go to the library, fill out a reconsideration form. We just have to bug them and be annoying and make it so that we are the ones using that system to, basically make them work. They have gotten away with running these libraries like this for so long that they almost don't even know what to do when they receive all this, backlash. So be the backlash. We have to provide that. That is so important, that we are the pushback. You are the pushback. And that pushback, it creates change.
Well, we appreciate you for coming on and giving us an update. You're living this on a daily basis. You could be doing so many other things, but if you truly love your kids, if you truly care about their futures, it makes 100% what you're trying to do. And we're grateful for that. Once again, you said November 17th, St. Charles City.
November 14th, Tuesday, November 14th. And that's the library board meeting. That's at the Spencer Road Library branch off Spencer Road in St. Charles, Missouri.
And real quick, again, what is the name of the library where this has happened?
So the drag librarian is at the Catherine Linneman branch.
That's on Elm, right?
It's over there, off of like Elm.
Lori says his name was Daniel Davidson. I guess that's what
Daniel Davidson.
Daniel Davidson is what that's come up through as. I don't know. Also, Glenn says you're a rock star. You can go back and look at some of the comments. People appreciate what you're doing. Hopefully it can be a little wind in your sails, because sometimes when you're fighting those battles that you feel like you're alone, especially when that's your mayor telling you what he's doing. So hopefully word gets back to Dan and everybody else involved.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Email Steve Ellman, email and call Dan Borgmeyer. Put the pressure on them too. So if they're the reason we're in this mess, they're going to be the reason to get us out of it.
Happy Halloween. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right, Rachel?
Thank you. Happy Halloween.
All right. Love the energy. Love the spunk. Love the fight. Love
her. Just
the stick-to-itness.
Yes, we need people like Rachel for sure, because so many people are afraid to do it. But I highly recommend, whether you're here in St. Charles County, we have a lot of listeners from other places. This is going on in your library too, because she broke it down really well that liberals think that anything that is run by tax dollars and by the government is theirs. And conservatives they're going to church, they're living their life, they're doing whatever. They don't want to get into fights. And that's the problem. A lot of these fringe liberals, they love all this for whatever reason. And like she said, we don't know what it is. It could be deep-seated, whoever, but it is. But then we don't fight back. And then we wake up one day and there's this big old mess. And,
it all started with woke. It
all started with woke. And they want attention. Like this guy, clearly, if he's married, sitting out to eat, not a cross-dresser, what is his agenda? We can only speculate. Is it grooming? Is it just that he wants attention? Does he have a mental illness? But whatever, it's odd. And what does his wife think? That would be something I would have liked to know. I mean, and that is honestly, if I had seen him out to eat, I try not to bother people, but if I had known that was Danny, I would say, oh my gosh, Danny, I didn't recognize you without your girl clothes on at the library. And I would have loved to have seen what his wife's face did. That would have been great, because he's playing a game, and you can play a game, down at the gay bar.
Well, it might be the Mr. Jason Cool who had issues before bringing and hiring on purpose.
So
you're trying to do something on purpose.
They are trying to do. It's all purposeful. All of it is.
It's just unfortunate, the whole woke thing. That's we are so anti-woke on this show, because be who you are. Don't try to force this other stuff down people's throats. Please think of kids. Please do whatever you want. Hey, you want to be a transgender cross-dressing librarian? You can. Fine. Enjoy life. And I hope people leave you alone. And I hope you can try to live the life that you want to live, but not when you're messing with kids.
Right.
And not when you're promoting it for kids. And I'm sorry, people who are against you have every right to be, because it appears as if most of these situations, if not every one of them, is somebody stepping out of bounds, trying to, quote, inflict what they want on kids. I'm going to put my attention on the kids. I'm going to push my beliefs on kids so that I can feel good about that. It's a problem. And that's what we try to do here on canceltheshow.com, bring up these issues and things that are happening, because the woke is not something that we want. I mean, hell, Kamala Harris, even yesterday, talking about AI. We're going to take control of AI in America to make sure that it's going to be right for those of color. I'm like, what? Using AI, trying to sign bills that this isn't just for specific groups, that they get the advantages. I mean, it's unbelievable what she was trying to bring up yesterday, saying that, quote, I believe we have a moral, ethical, and societal duty to make sure that AI, artificial intelligence, is adopted and advanced in a way that protects the public from potential harm and ensures that everyone is able to enjoy its benefits.
It sounds like our AI overlords are taking over.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
There are people in the AI community are saying that Kamala and Joe Biden are trying to make AI woke so that leftist messages are only seen via AI, especially when it comes to elections, where only the left's viewpoints are getting out from AI and AI taking over all of that messaging.
Isn't it already that way? If you go to Bing and you ask it a political question, it's pretty left-leaning.
Yes, it is. It is. And we've said that before, that it's like who's inputting the information. And then I know that AI then takes on a mind of its own. But if a conservative was the one putting it in here, we probably wouldn't even be talking about this.
I mean, literally, they are off the rails in every which way when it comes, the administration is right now, when you see the stuff that's going on. I mean, we all know, one of the most embarrassing politicians in the world right now is Cori Bush out of St. Louis.
Yes.
Because not many people went to vote when and then of course, here she is saying we need to stop any sort of backing for Israel after we're seeing women and children beheaded and raped and killed and hostages. And she's literally saying, screw Israel. I mean, you can't, like one of the worst people in the world right now is Cori Bush for saying what she is.
Awful.
Not an opinion based on facts and what she's saying. She's entitled to say whatever she wants. But when you do, there's also, you're a public figure and you've been voted into office, you're going to have to deal with what you're saying. She's literally promoting what happened to Israel in the attack. We don't need to have any association with, screw them, like pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine. Well, it's interesting and it's so bad. And she is obviously a squad member, one of the biggest promoters of racism in the world is her. There's no unity with what she wants. She's like, screw unity. There's no unity with Cori Bush. There just isn't,
you can't
unfortunately.
Have unity with her.
And she's a St. Louisan, which makes it even worse right now. But she can be who she wants to be. But I do find it interesting. St. Louis County, and this is interesting, Wesley Bell's county prosecutor has dropped out of his race for Senate because there is no chance. He has zero chance to win a Senate seat in Missouri. It just, it's not the Democrats' time yet. And we're going to get Brian Williams on, who's a Missouri state senator, to talk about that. He's now running against Cori Bush.
And I hope he kicks her ass.
He is, he would not have, there's so many layers to this story.
There really is.
Number one, he's supposed to be the St. Louis County prosecutor.
Correct.
And crime has gone up in St. Louis County. I know Wesley personally. I like him as a person.
I like him as a person. I've met him.
He needs to be focused on that job.
Right.
So then he was running for Senate. Oh, well, I'm not going to like Senate. But now he wants to switch over and run for the U.S. House position, House Representative. Okay. What? You're switching gears again? Okay. He's an intelligent man. Now he's going over to take over her spot to get some pull, some hype nationally. Can he win? You're talking about a black man. And I'm telling you, Cori's district is hardcore. And a lot of those people believed in her. And I hope to God that she pissed a lot of them off with Israel. But maybe she didn't. Maybe the people in her district are pro-Palestinian. Maybe they are fine with what Hamas did. They might be in the city of St. Louis.
It makes you wonder. But Wesley Bell, through all of his faults, and we all know he has a lot where crime is concerned, but I think, and he's a Democrat, so you know what I think about that. But I've met him now on a couple occasions, and he really is a decent human being.
He would never say the things that Cori said.
Yes.
He would never be a member of the squad. I can promise you that much as well.
Yes. And he has been, like Amy's saying, he's been around St. Louis for a long time. But if you were to meet him, like, matter of fact, I went to an event for like a radio station, and he was there, and I did not even know it was him. And I walk in, and he immediately was very nice. And he's, and just for the ladies out there, in person, he's a strikingly nice looking person. And he doesn't appear that way to be on mainstream media. Not that he's ugly, but he was one of the nicest people. And when I realized who it was, I'd been talking to him an hour.
I'll get him on the show next week.
He was very personable, and he said things that were not left-wing wackadoo.
No, he doesn't. And that's how he is. I know Wesley, and that's how he is.
Yeah.
But I just found it to be so interesting. You've got somebody who has a legitimate shot at taking out Cori Bush.
I love it. Makes my heart happy.
I'm not even going to try to predict what would happen. I know we have people in our chat line saying that, yes, he would beat her. He would destroy her. He's super responsible. He's super professional.
He is.
I'm not even going to make a prediction, but I am going to say I would guess he would have a legitimate shot
Yes.
at Cori Bush.
I think so too. I hope so. But you're right. It's hard to make a prediction.
But he will also be painted as the guy who lied to blacks in St. Louis and said that he would take care of Darren Wilson, who killed.
That's right.
Michael.
You're talking about Michael Brown.
Michael Brown.
Yes, because you're right. Because
he ran on that. I was in the courthouse the day when Wesley walked out and was being screamed at by black St. Louis County representatives or black county citizens saying, "We'll never vote for you again. We're going to make sure the community knows about this," because allegedly Wesley was able to upset McCullough because he said he would reopen and go after Darren Wilson. He'd reopen the case that had already been an open and shut case by Barack Obama and his Department of Justice. And so Wesley ran and he upset McCullough on that issue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honest.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't able to do it when he went back and he's like, well, shit. He's like, I mean, I looked, I tried. There's nothing there. There's nothing illegal that Darren Wilson did.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where,
then, so that community then started to call him, of course, the Uncle Tom, Tim, whatever else you want, racist name you want to call him, because he's a black man, Democrat, but he couldn't maneuver the system to make sure that the people who voted for him got what they wanted. They wanted to see a white police officer go down.
Well, you know what it'll be, and this is a strong statement for me to make. It boils down to, in that district, are you racist or are you not racist? Because Bell wanted to throw the book at Darren Wilson, but he could not. He looked at the facts. That's where I really initially looked at him and was like, okay, he might be a Democrat. However, he's really truthful and he's going to take a lot of heat for that. So if people do not like him on that issue, it boils down to the people that vote for Cori, you're just a damn racist. As simple as that.
Well,
it's that cut and dry.
I didn't think that there was that anybody would have a shot to beat Cori Bush in that area, in that district, but now I do.
Yeah,
I think that he has a legitimate shot, and I find that especially because of her own self-inflicted wounds.
Yes, because she's done so much stuff. I mean, there's no doubt who she is now. She is.
Well, she's anti-police.
She's anti-police. She's BLM. When BLM has been exposed,
she's pro her own security officers.
Correct. Yes, and her husband has been all over media lately talking about defending the fact that he takes government money and is going to help her run her next campaign. So that's really an interesting mix. So I mean, you can't be even a versed person or somebody that's not racist to vote for her. She's insufferable and a liar.
I don't remember this. I don't remember him specifically saying this, but I guess he did. I'll take your word for it. Glenn says Bell said that Kim Gardner should resign when she was exposed.
He did.
Okay, because I didn't remember him coming out that full and saying that.
Truth. So, I mean, he's a decent human being, despite the fact that he's a Democrat. So, I mean, and I do say despite the fact, but in St. Louis right now, you can't be a Republican and run. So he would make a very good choice, and he's a reasonable human being. He's not going to embarrass St. Louis by going up there and screaming and yelling and pro Hamas and all that stuff. He's not going to be like that. He looks at the truth.
Glenn said that Wesley actually told him at a charity event.
Well, and see, he was at an event. I was in an event that he said the same thing.
I just didn't know if he said that publicly, Glenn.
I don't know if he said it on the news either, but he sure said it in the big setting that I was at a charity event. I don't know if we were at the same event or not, but I've been to 2 events where he's been at, and he said it both times. That's
so fascinating. And you know what? I mean, it'll be interesting. I guarantee Cori did not want to see Wesley Bell running. And that's going to be a problem for her to deal with as it comes down the line. But we've already seen, you go woke, you go broke. The policies don't work. Joe Biden is so compromised by so many people that even if he has half a brain left, which I don't think he does, he wouldn't be able to use it because he's compromised. He has to do whatever he can do, compromised by his own actions and especially compromised by his son and his family. Well, Boston had started to, another blue city. Well, Boston's starting to wake up too. Go woke, go broke. Their mayor, their liberal mayor, is now giving police a whole lot more authority than they've ever had. They're tired of the bullshit that's going on. They're tired of the crime. They're tired of their city getting worse. Starting November 1st, if you haven't seen this yet, there's something called Methadone Mile, Well, tents are going to be removed. Heavy police presence is going to be added to Boston's Methadone Mile. They're tired of it. They said that they're going to give police the authority to dismantle a homeless tent city, which should happen immediately in a neighborhood in Boston that has been being used to shield drug use and other crimes. They're done with it. So, yes, you can do this being a liberal, hard left leader. You can get rid of the freaking homeless tents. You can get rid of, or at least try to get rid of the crime, giving police the authority to go out and do their jobs to take care of this stuff. A report in the Boston Herald said that residents in the tent city had been notified of the new rule in several languages, which is so bizarre because that's America now. Any newcomers to the camp would be met by a coordinated team of social workers and law enforcement to inform them that no new tents will be allowed. They're done with it.
Good.
The Boston mayor is Michelle Wu, and she is the one who is behind this right now. They said there's no magic wand. It's a very complex, longstanding challenge that cities around the country are facing with the opioid crisis, homelessness, mental health, including St. Louis. But we know in Boston that we have a good sense of not only who it is that needs services, but also how to most effectively connect people with those services. Well, good luck. It's not as easy as it sounds. And many times people who get used to being homeless want to stay homeless. What are you going to do? They don't want to change. I heard that in downtown St. Louis, people did not want to leave the homeless camps because that's what they knew. That's what they had become comfortable with. They were afraid of what else or something else that could happen. And now you have these, there you go, your liberal cities trying to jump in and do what they possibly can. The Grumpy Englishman says the Willy Wonka music. What are you talking about?
He's talking, I guess, I don't know why he's talking about it now, but he actually does live in England, but he's probably talking about the Joe Biden when we were playing the Willy Wonka music.
Some people may have rewinded or went back and they can actually see live chat, but
well, it is Halloween. I mean, we've hit Halloween a lot today. We've hit hardcore news too. I'm curious what people are doing, what kind of traditions you have, what people are giving out. Do people do anything when it comes to their house? Do they try to scare people? Do you do any of that stuff? Can you load up again Joe Biden sniffer and Joe Biden dropping candy with Willy Wonka? I don't care which is first or not. I just am curious from a Halloween standpoint. I don't know which one. Oh, this is the candy, isn't it? The Willy Wonka music.
You can't hear the music. There you go.
We'll play it. You just see Gene Hackman, which is freaky with Biden kids.
Right? Oh.
I got the sniffer one up and ready too.
Donna says bigger people running around with masks at night is scary enough.
It's going to be cold tonight.
Aaron says, I thought Hunter was the one dropping the candy.
Right? Donna says, what kind of candy is he handing out? I can't tell.
I can't figure out the shaking of the box.
Looks like candy cigarettes.
That's what I thought,
when he
too.
drops them, it's like he's going to give all the broken ones to the next kid.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can I see? I want to take a look at the box again.
All right, hold on.
It may be boring for our listeners of the podcast, but we are showing. You can check it out on canceltheshow.com. I want to see what kind of candy's hand because it doesn't look normal. What is that? It's not any candy box I've ever seen.
This is the sniffing. Okay.
Oh,
yeah. But he's still got the same candy in his hand that he's given to everybody.
After he sniffed, and then he's got the candy.
I swear it looks like a pack of candy cigarettes.
People on our chat line thought the same thing. And then Aaron said that he saw that he coughed all over the candy too.
Oh, God.
Like, and then he hands coffin-filled.
No, they don't look like bags. There's little boxes.
Maybe it's special White House candy. That in itself is scary. That's scary. Yeah, it looks, I don't know what it is in there. It's really hard to tell.
Why does he always wear a hat when he's outside?
Here you go, little kid. Here's a box of condoms.
I don't. Oh, that's
disgusting. But I mean, but you know what? I'm not saying that.
Why does he wear his hat? I want to know why he wears this hat.
Maybe because it's not the real Joe Biden. Maybe it's Joe Biden number 2. It is Halloween.
It doesn't make sense why he wears that hat. outside all the time. It
Maybe-
just doesn't.
I like Greg's comment, Luden's cough drops. That sounds about right.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Jeannie says because it's his hair blows.
Is this the sniffer again?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is
the
yeah.
sniffer? Ugh, little White House baggies.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I guess it is what it is.
You know, when you think about this is our Halloween show, and I'm
vaccinated.
laughing, but I'm not laughing because of all the disturbed people we've kind of talked about today. I mean, we talked about Joe Biden and he's disturbed, the cross-dresser, he's disturbed. I mean,
What are you doing tonight? Do you have plans for Halloween?
yes, we are
What-
going to go trick-or-treating with our granddaughter.
So the whole family. So there's.
Yeah, we're all, not everybody, all of my kids are all kind of going a different way this evening.
What's the right time to go trick or treating?
As soon as it gets dark. Unless your neighborhood says something else, because some neighborhoods set up an actual time and an actual, like there's lots of neighborhoods now that have a certain time.
Is it all right to go to a different neighborhood that's not yours? If
Yeah,
you
people
don't know
do it
people,
all the time.
if you
Why
don't,
wouldn't you?
if
Yeah,
you don't,
can.
you go to a neighborhood and you don't know anybody there.
Who cares?
You're dressed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are they going to know? You know.
Yeah, you have to go. I know in our neighborhood that people come in that don't live in there for sure, because our neighborhood's pretty big. But like my daughter, she has one street, and that might be the only thing that they do because Liberty's little. But I don't know. Then they might go to the neighborhood.
What is the thought on leaving candy outside the door if you're not there?
That's a great thing, except for one kid is going to take it all.
You're just inviting some hoodlum to, because you know one person's going to.
Okay, I'm just asking all the questions I've been thinking about.
I think people who do that are just they're asking for it, and then they get all frustrated when somebody actually does it.
Lori says that her granddaughter and friends start in a main street. It's in the St. Louis area in St. Charles. They start at 4:00.
Yeah, that's great because Main Street has trick-or-treating in the light.
Crystal says we don't live in a neighborhood, so we have to go to
another
neighborhood. So by the way, that's Crystal Matheny. Crystal
Mathena.
with a K, or Mathena, Crystal at canceltheshow.com. If you know of anybody that's interested in advertising with us, we're also doing something where we're giving companies a chance to come in. Check it out. We'll interview a company. They're not paying for it. We're promoting them just so they can get in and check it out and see if this could be something that would work for them. So you can contact Crystal for that as well so that we understand who we can get in. We'd love to promote lots of companies in our area. So let Crystal know. And we appreciate that. Ginny says kids are rude. Some kids are rude that have not been taught correctly by their parents.
Well, and more kids are rude. They really are. I mean, kids have always been rude because kids just don't have any manners. And sometimes the best parents, their kids will do something outside of what their parents know about. And their parents did teach them right.
Is it wrong for like people my age to just go trick-or-treating by themselves and walk up?
You know what? What do you think the age limit
I don't
is?
know.
I think that would be kind of creepy.
I
that is a little
haven't
weird.
gone trick-or-treating. It's been like 12, 13 years
Because
with my kids.
Oh, with your kids. Yeah.
No,
I think kids that
like if I went out just by myself, would that be like Joe Biden-esque?
they
yeah,
would think
that would be
you're
pretty
a kid
creepy.
groomer.
You can afford your own candy, sir.
You know, I would love to go as Joe
Yeah.
Biden.
That would
Seriously.
be great.
Just by myself and like stumble around like him and just kind of like I'm by myself walking down the street and
That
Joe
would be
Biden.
Hysterical.
Hey,
Walking up sniffing
hey.
kids.
You know, that
Yes.
wouldn't be it. I don't know. It wouldn't be necessarily a tough costume if you with a
Yeah.
hat and looking at that, just like stumbling up to a door and what kind of comments?
Just get a Bob Barker costume.
Bob Barker. Yeah.
Could you
Looks
imagine?
almost
Yeah.
just like him.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine me just by myself dressed as Joe Biden? Like, I just want to do it. I wish I could find somebody to videotake me as a third. And I'm just like walking down the street like in a Joe Biden.
I'll videotape you if you
That
do it.
just
That
like-
would be so fun.
just to see what people's responses are. If they like, who is that strange
Who is
dude
that weirdo?
just stumbling down the street?
And it depends on which street.
But you have to do it like where you look awkward.
yes,
Like you're not
yes.
walking with people, like you're by yourself, like
Uh-huh.
walking out in traffic and just by yourself holding the bag.
Yes, and Bindy's saying
It
carry
take
an
about
ice
5
cream
minutes in a
cone.
good neighborhood to have the police called.
Donna brings up a good point. You get shot in a certain neighborhood.
That's right. In my neighborhood, to be honest, there's a lot of Trump flags. People would think you were great. They would hand you a beer. But you go to some other neighborhoods, you might get shot. You just
Well, I don't know if people be like, what the hell? Who are you? Amy says we better start a GoFundMe for Vic for his bail money.
100%.
Oh my God, that's the best.
100%.
Walk around with an ice cream cone.
Uh-huh.
I think the Trump neighborhoods would absolutely love it. That'd be
They
great.
so would. They so
Nice
would.
tune.
Stand in front of Lizzie's house.
You could. You so could stand in front of
Oh
mine.
my
People would
God, that
fine.
is funny as hell. I just got a message that said, my nephew went as Trump. His friends dressed up as they walked around DeSoto's Walmart.
Oh, fun.
Hold on a second. Let me try to send you this picture. Oh, this is some good stuff
Yeah,
here.
send a picture.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Let me do the picture here, but it is funny. I would love to see somebody out dressed as Biden videotaped with people just trying to come up to them and respond. Somebody looking lost, confused, dazed with an ice cream cone, like Joe Biden would be.
That would be great. I would love to see two little kids walking down the street. One is Trump and one is Biden. That would be hysterical.
Okay. This I give this good effort for Donald Trump, for kids doing this. I love it. It could be worse. Joe, I'm sending that to you right now, as you will see. Then people wouldn't be afraid to go as Trump. I like his look, his Trump. Okay, the Trumpsters coming up. These are kids trying to do that. Glenn said you could wear Depends. I guess you could have Depends on the outside of your pants, maybe.
For Joe Biden, because you might poop your pants.
That would work too. Just stand in the middle of the street and look around. That would be funny.
That's right. Air handshakes to people that aren't even there.
Air handshakes.
That would be great.
Walk up. Yeah, this is a good way to get yourself knocked out. You walk up to a family and try to sniff their baby.
That's good. That's good. I love it.
There's the picture. Cindy just sent this in. Her son and friends, they went, oh, you got your Secret Service. Oh, those are Secret Service guys. I don't know who the far right is supposed to be.
I don't know, but it looks
but
like
I like
Trump with Secret Service. Yeah, maybe a reporter.
Oh, it is. You're right.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so I see Secret Service guy on the left. I see Trump in the middle to the left. The guy to the right.
Probably another Secret Service agent, maybe?
No, he doesn't have the earpiece in.
Oh, yeah.
It's just Trump's people. That is great. That is great.
Be huge.
And Cindy said her nephew is the one that's Trump. That is wonderful. That's got to do a parent good, like your kid wants to be Donald Trump, in these day and age, especially. That's good. That's good. That's good parenting.
Are we still playing Willy Wonka in the background?
No.
Oh, I thought I heard Willy Wonka as we're talking about it, and I was like, oh, this kind of works.
Yeah, that does kind of work. I've never quite looked at that movie.
It might actually still be. No.
Hold on. Be quiet, everybody, please, real quick.
Be quiet.
Now I hear. Oh,
I did hear it.
Yeah, the video is still playing, but
Okay,
it's
that's
the Monsters theme song.
Oh, that's.
I like that too. Keep it going. Keep it going. Did you like the Munsters?
Don Jr.
That was my favorite too.
Mine too, Joe. No wonder we like each other. The Munsters was my absolute favorite show as a kid.
Yeah, as a young kid, young kid, I liked it.
I liked it.
Everybody used to
took
compare me to the kid because of my
Eddie.
Eddie Munster.
Eddie
because
Munster.
of my hairline.
Loved it. My dad was really tall, and he dressed up one year as Herman Munster, and that was great. And then my daughter Heidi, she got in big trouble at school one year because she dressed up as a little Herman Munster and she had the stuff on her neck, and her kindergarten teacher freaked out and we got called to the office.
I got another Trump picture here. Can we pop this? I appreciate the pics, guys.
The pics are great.
So Projo, I just sent you another picture.
Oh yeah, Pam says the far right one almost looks like Kushner that was on Cindy's picture. And Glenn says Matt Gaetz played Eddie.
Let's see.
Is that real?
Here.
Do you have a picture, Glenn? Some people like the Addams Family.
Here we
too.
go. And Projo's going to put this picture up in just a second.
Here it comes.
I figured I'd put the Willy Wonka music back.
Please do.
Oh, awesome. Okay. This is Megan Marie's son.
Yes.
She said, I sent him to school like this a few years ago. So she sent him dressed as Trump.
That is awesome. Awesome.
So yeah, you saw that I sent you that picture, right? Okay. We're going to get that up for people to see before we get out of here today. I love the pictures. Trump, there it is. People are still trying to beat Trump. And Aaron Bland said that John Kerry would have been a great lurch. No doubt about it, from the Addams Family.
Yeah, for sure.
Glenn says Matt Gaetz played Eddie.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be good?
I can
I
see
could see him
that.
as Eddie for sure.
Uncle Festerman doesn't even have to dress up today.
No,
It's
not
his
at
one
all.
day a year he fits in.
No, absolutely not. I don't know, Joe. Derek was sending me some pictures of him in costume. Our merch guy, I told him to email them to you. So he might have.
For some reason, it's not letting me load this picture.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it's not the right format.
That's weird. Well, here, I'm going to show a picture because I can do this.
You can do it.
This was Megan's.
Oh, that's great. So that's Megan Marie's son.
Who we had on the show last
Yes.
week.
That's beautiful.
Huge.
Beautiful.
It's going to be amazing. There he is. And then hold on. Get another one. That's a pretty good look at Trump too, right there. So if you want to focus in on that.
That's great. Love it.
The Trump. Okay, the audio podcast is kind of tinked right now for us, but the video is pretty damn good. We love that. That's good that you sent your son to school like that.
That's beautiful. Love
And I'm
it.
sure the teachers at DeSmet were all for him.
Yes, I bet the teachers loved it. Loved it. It is interesting which school. I think at the school my kid goes to, I absolutely know they could go as Donald Trump or anything like that, and it would be fine. Although, I mean, if they went as Joe Biden, they probably wouldn't get in trouble. The teachers would just, go, okay, that's nice. Go sit down.
Well, keep us posted on your Halloween stuff tonight, everybody. Let us know. Let us know how everything goes. Tomorrow, we have Kathy Obig Strick, Steve Strick in to catch up on that super important real estate trial that's going on in Kansas City. Route 66. We'll focus on some products there. We'll see what else is happening tonight. Hopefully, you guys have an awesome day. And it's, once again, if you're worried about it, as Christians, you're allowed to sell. It is Halloween is holy evening. It's what it is. But a lot of times the devil and dark forces and dark things try to take over holidays, just like Easter, just like Christmas.
Yes.
Enjoy your day. Thanks for joining us for the podcast today for the October 31st version. So for Pro Joe, intern Chase is even in the back. He popped in today.
Yes, he did.
Lizzie Sparks, I know you're going to enjoy tonight. Have fun.
I am. I'm going to have a blast. I'm going to go see my daughter. Somebody was asking, my daughter and her husband are going to be the characters from Jurassic Park, with Liberty's going to be the dinosaur.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
That's
so
beautiful.
Fun. Yeah, I'm excited.
We'll let you know how that all goes tomorrow. I'm Vic Faust. Thanks for joining us today, guys. That does it for the podcast, the live cast. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.